My name is Dilan Abeya, and I make bespoke AI personas. Not something I ever started off in life or in my career, but we can flip back to that in a second. But the premise to what my message really is, that I talk about on socials and on my website and in my business, really is this: for all the scaremongering out there, I look to the opposite of that. I actually look into the midst of that fear, and I say that AI will not replace humans, but humans that use AI will replace humans that don't. And that, I think, is absolutely key. Will there be a shift in labor markets and jobs? Absolutely. There'll be a major shift. AI is disrupted to the point that we don't even understand yet. But what that shift in labor market means, to my view, is huge opportunity for new jobs, creation of new types of jobs, jobs that we don't even know about yet. We know jobs as they stand today in our current economic framework and our current mindset and setup. But AI is disruptive to the point whereby it's going to allow us to be significantly more efficient beyond anything ever been able to sort of be or consume in any way, shape, or form. And as such, there's just going to be a new form of jobs out there. And what that means is to fill those jobs, to be able to take those up, we as humans have got to upskill ourselves. We've got to get on board with how AI will help us in our day to day, in our jobs, in our roles, in our companies, in whatever it is that we do, as opposed to being fearful of it, as opposed to being scared of it, which is what the scaremongering out there is. It's going to replace us, it's going to replace humans. It won't. And let's be clear, AI technology has been created by humans. It is only as good as the content that is given, the inputs that it is given. It might have a gazillion inputs, and it may absolutely come up with permutations or creations that humans haven't thought out of, but it's only from a set of data points that it's been given in the first instance, even if it's a significant number. Now, it's still genius technology because it can, beyond the human brain, beyond a human's capacity, scale and analyze data and large sets of data in an instant, and bring back to us a response that is the way, or in a way that mimics humans in a matter of seconds, which is huge in terms of efficiencies, which is way beyond what a human can do. But what it can't do is the organic, conscious, human self-awareness that is infinite. Our consciousness as humans is something that is very, very different from a machine. Machine has been built by us, and therefore it's only as good as what we have made it. Additionally, what we get out of that technology is only as good as the questions we ask it. So, there's a lot of noise out there about how AI just spits out rubbish. Well, it's only spits out rubbish because of the questions it's been asking in the first instance, which is why prompt engineering, for example, has become such a big sort of fancy word that really is a skill that we need to hone. It really is, I feel, our new form of currency, as it were, understanding how to prompt AI effectively. And quite honestly, prompt engineering really only is a fancy word or a fancy term for asking good questions. If you think of generative AI as something that has been built to mimic humans, well, then we should talk to it like we're talking to humans, like we're talking to the person next to us, or our friend, or our parents, or our boss, or whoever it might be. You ask generative AI questions the way that you would ask another human, and you'll get a response that is correlated in a form that is articulated as well as the question you've asked it in the first instance. So the better your detail, the better your articulation, the more concise you are without being confusing, the better your response will be. And in that sense, it is genius. And what it does is allow us to become significantly more efficient, to allow us to save time, to stay ahead, to be innovative, to give back leaders of teams, CEOs, team members, a whole load of time back where they can get tasks done in an instant. And that's where we need to understand how incredible this technology is for our benefits, as opposed to wiping us out. Again, I repeat, humans that use AI will replace humans that don't, which is different from AI replacing humans, because ultimately humans have made the AI in the first place, right? So it's one thing that I think a lot of people are very, very scared about. Corporates, banks, big corporations are all scared of it. It feels like the scaremongering is out there in droves, but I ask people to take the opposite view. I ask people to actually look that fear straight in the eye and understand that that's exactly where your opportunity lies. To the extent that like I played around with AI in my own business. As I said, I'd make bespoke AI personas, and that's not something that I did originally. My background is banking. I was a trader for my entire career post university, from a graduate training program into a large US investment bank. And that's what I did my entire career. And then I had space out or time out between leaving one place and starting another place. And in that time, I started to build on my social media. I write a lot on social media about helping other people. I wanted to then understand how I could monetize that and scale that. And literally in the gym doing bicep curls, 9 o'clock at night in Bali, surrounded by lots of people who are, sort of growth mindset, entrepreneurs, Web3 developers. In those sort of circles and conversations, very different and very removed from London, I thought of making a digital version of myself, an AI version of myself. All the knowledge I talk about on social media, everything I learned on a couple other courses I've done on like life coaching. I like to help people. My social media is all about helping people. And I write about the coping mechanisms I use to help me help myself when my personal life blew up, including fitness and nutrition, etc. I used to talk about money and investing, but I was 28 kilos heavier than I am today. And I talk about that journey, and I talk about what helped me in the hope that it might help other people. And so I wanted to build on that. But there's only so much you can do one-on-one. There's only so much you can do even one-to-many. So I created an AI version of myself, and that was the vision that I had, doing bicep curls at 9 o'clock at night on my own in this gym in Bali. And so I set out on that journey with no tech background, zero, given my background is banking. I just had a view of what I wanted my AI to look like, AI Dylan. I wanted to replicate how I think so that friends, people who follow me could maybe ask AI Dylan at 2 o'clock in the morning when they're crying their eyes out because they're in that dark moment the way I was, when they also don't want to necessarily ask anyone else, or there isn't even anyone else to ask because they're on their own. They could refer to something that replicated me to see what Dylan would say in that moment. And that was the purpose of it. And so I set out I wrote 410,000 words of my own thoughts, how I think, my unique perspective on my trials and tribulations in certain situations. What would I say on the topics that I talk about and I care about and I have a view on, coupled with everything I've written on social media, the course that I've taken, this and that, etc., etc. I talked to tech people. I got other tech people in. I met people in Bali who were tech people who could help me build this, who then I learned from. I learned from YouTube channels. I learned from reading. I learned from making a huge amount of mistakes. I had no idea about what generative AI was or what tools or software were out there in order to be able to help me build this vision. But I just kept going and going. It took me 11 months and I brought it to market last August. And I thought I was late. I thought everyone would have that view. Everyone would have that vision of creating an AI of themselves because it was just so obvious to me with respect to scaling one's knowledge and scaling one's expertise or message. And so I came to market with AI Dylan, a digital product, and also I'd in that time also done a life coaching certificate through Jay Shetty's certification school, and I wanted to bring these two products to market. But I realized whilst I was in banking and in trading and number one on my desk in that space, I had no idea about how to build my own business. And so I joined an entrepreneurial network in the UK. Having come back to the UK, I was like, I have two products, but I don't have a business model to scale this or grow this. And I knew I needed help with that, and I knew I had a knowledge gap between my corporate world versus starting my own business. They're two very different skill sets. So when I joined this entrepreneurial network, you have to present obviously what you're doing, and they were like, I presented AI Dylan, an AI version of myself, and they were like, "You've done what?" They were like, "What are you talking about?" Even my friends were like, "Just be quiet." That just completely booed me off. And so I showed them, and they used it, and they were like, "Okay, wow." And to me, it was, as I say, a very obvious thing to do. I thought everyone was doing it, and this entrepreneurial network, and the guy who is the CEO of that network called Big Business Entrepreneurs, a guy called Adam Stott, was like, "No, mate, no one's thinking about this, and if they had thought about it, they don't know how to build it. Your business should be about replicating what you've done to create AI Dylan, but for other people." So I told him to put his money where his mouth is. And I pitched him what he was telling me to do. And he said yes. So I then set out on the journey to build his AI, an AI Adam, taking his content as a business coach, as an entrepreneur, with all of his content from his online courses, from his book, from his YouTube channels, from his podcasts, from all of his content, the best part of 2 million words as it sits right now, his mind, how he uniquely thinks about business, about scaling, about social media, about monetization on social media, different strategies, origin stories, Facebook ads, etc., etc., etc. His mistakes that he now has, rectified, and now he's teaching to other small businesses. He has a business coaching platform. I'm now taking all of his static content, what I call static, written, auditory, video, even social media is, yes, you can like and comment and you can interact, but it's not interactive. So I've taken what I call static information, content, and I've applied that to generative AI so that you can now talk to his content and have a conversation with this content in the same way that you would if his clients were talking to him as a business coach. But it's on tap 24/7 in the same way that AI Dylan is. We launched that 6 weeks ago, and the reaction has been wild. People are shocked as to how closely it resembles his tonality, his voice, his manner, and the extensive nature of the responses that come back is huge. It not only pulls from the 1.88 million, or actually 1.9 million words of his thinking, but it also sits then on a large language model, a multi-model that then it sources additional information to form responses that it gives to his clients. And it's voice and it's text, and it's helping people troubleshoot issues at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday or on a Saturday night when people or entrepreneurs or small businesses obviously they fret about their businesses 24/7, right? They don't just nicely fit into when there's a business coaching session or when there's a class on or when another human is available. So it's been game changing in that respect. And as I understand, it's the first business coach in the United Kingdom that has their own AI. There are a couple in the US, but they came out after AI Dylan. AI Dylan came out to the market last August. I thought I was late. By the end of the year, there were a couple other coaches that had their AI launched. And this is AI Adam, Big Business Entrepreneurs, as I understand, is the first of its kind in the United Kingdom. Others absolutely will catch on, and certainly I'm pitching to other entrepreneurs and business owners to do the same. So that's been the journey with respect to AI in my space, in context of AI being able to amplify human interaction. Again, I repeat, nothing will replace the human experience. AI and evidence of AI saving people time, both clients and this business coach, for example, is clear and present. post-launch of AI Adam, his clients are telling him how much time it's saving them and how extensive the information is and how incredible it is to have his mind, to the extent that it's been trained, in their hands to ask questions. A mind that has helped businesses across the UK generate north of £156 million in sales. They have that 9-figure brain in their hand to ask questions, to troubleshoot, and it's working when they apply and take action on those pointers in their businesses, which saves them time and it saves the business coach time, because there are 8,000 messages that AI Adam has sent back to his clients, which would have taken up a hell of a lot of his time. That's even if his clients could get him. So it's a huge time saver and a value add on both sides without replacing the human experience. In fact, what it does is amplify the human, the specific business coach's ability to expand on his human reasoning, on his human critique, on his human creativity in front of other people.